Hello, this is Master Tang, and you are listening to the Kung Pao Enter the Podcast. That doesn't sound right. That can't be the name. You're not calling it that? I don't know, I just think name it something better than that. It can't be hard to think of a name. Like, how about you call it, I don't know, something different, man. I don't know. Anyway, enjoy the podcast.
Hello, Chosen Ones. I'm your host, John Rogers, and I'm very excited to have interviewed the one and only Master Tang on this week's episode. We covered a wide range of topics, from how he broke into the acting industry, to his past and present passions, his insistence on doing his own stunts, and the impact the film had on his life. It was an incredible honor to be able to interview him, and I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed conducting it. Enjoy. Master Tang, good to see you and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It truly is an honor to meet you. Tell me how you came to be involved in Kung Pao.
Well, that is quite a story, and I will tell it to you right now. I was working as a cabana boy in West Hollywood when the guy I was oiling down received a phone call. I did not know it at the time, but the guy was an agent, and he was looking to get an audition for his client for a new project, some kind of kung fu movie. I overheard him talking about it while oiling his hamstrings. I gathered the courage to tell him that I was also an actor.
Wow, so you hadn't been cast in much prior to this.
Correct. Nothing that could be seen by anyone under the age of 18.
How long had you been trying to break in?
Oh, I don't know. 2, 3 decades.
So what happened when you told the agent you were an actor?
It was a classic Hollywood tale. I did him a sex favor, and he got me an audition.
I see. What happened next?
I am glad you asked. First, he took off his towel. Next, I grabbed the industrial vat of Vaseline I kept on hand. Then, I took a large...
I'm just going to stop you right there. Apologies for interrupting, but I meant what happened next with the audition.
Are you sure? I had 45 minutes worth of story to tell there.
Thank you, but yes, I'm sure.
Okay, it was going to get really good and extremely descriptive.
That's all right. So, tell me about the audition.
Yes, the audition. I arrived to the audition with hope in my heart, and also with my industrial-sized vat of Vaseline.
You brought that with you?
Well, yeah. You don't want to need it and not have it. Trust me on that one, buddy.
I see.
Anyway, I get inside and I'm in front of a panel of 6 people. I didn't know there would be so many people, and at this point, I'm glad I have the vat of Vaseline. One of those people was Steve Odekirk, and he and I got along very well from the onset.
Steve Odekirk, the writer-director of Kung Pao.
Yes, the very same. I could tell he had a clear vision of what he wanted to do, and he was so damn handsome. His bod was totally rocking on camera, and off camera too. And behind the camera, he was a fantastic director.
What kind of direction did he give you?
First, he directed me to get off of the ground and to refasten my pants. Second, he explained that my character was a kung fu master who was to train the chosen one. Sort of like a sexier, better-looking Obi-Wan Kenobi. Except this character would be very popular with the ladies, you know. Also, that he was hung like a horse, and so I played him as such.
Interesting. What scene did you do in your audition?
It was the scene where I first meet the chosen one. The script originally had the line, "How many miles? 10,000?" And I improvised it a bit and made it, "How many miles? 10 million?" And Steve loved it.
Did you get offered the part right there?
No, I did not get the part right there.
You just nodded your head yes, but you said no.
Yes.
So did you get the part right there?
Yes.
Okay then. What was it like your first day on set?
Well, I was very nervous, like a monkey in a piñata.
love that line.
What line?
The monkey in the piñata line, like in the movie.
Whatever you say. Anyway, I was very nervous. I think we all were. None of us had met before, but we were all in agreement that the script was great. It was like the best script I had ever read.
What stood out to you about it?
There was a lot of heart in there, a lot of truth, and it took risks. Find me another movie with the cojones to include a baby rolling down a mountain into a gully and French aliens. You won't be able to. I had Excuse me.
Are you okay?
Yes, it's just,
Okay.
I think no matter how nervous I was, or we all were, I knew it was going to be okay because the material was so damned good.
Was the script fully formed from day one?
For the most part, but Steve let us do some improvisation and would take notes.
Were there any lines in the final cut that you contributed?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Yes.
Will you?
Yes, I will. Right now. The line about yellow liquid for your popcorn, that was all me, baby.
How did you come up with that?
Oh, that was just something I would say to people who were eating popcorn at the time.
Like, out in public?
Sure. Anybody, really. In the late 90s, if I saw you eating popcorn, I would come up to you and say that line. It upset a lot of movie theater patrons, and I was asked to leave Disneyland. But I did it anyway, every time, and there were lots of times. Steve added the bit about it being non-dairy, which I thought really brought it to the next level. One day, Steve overheard me say it to one of the stagehands, and he thought it was good enough to be in the movie, and so it was.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You got it.
Do you really like the band NSYNC?
I thought I would get this question.
I apologize. I'm sure you get asked this all the time.
It's true. It comes up in most interviews, and I'll give you the answer I give everyone else. Yes, I really like the band NSYNC.
I think I can die happy now. Thanks for humoring me.
What? What are you talking about? Who is humoring you? I really do like the band NSYNC. I think they're fantastic. I hope they reunite and tour again soon.
Okay. Any stories from shooting you'd like to share?
Oh, sure. Did you know I did all my own stunts?
I did not. Were there any that were particularly difficult?
I can't tell you how long it took to get right me swallowing the 2 butterflies. Those were real butterflies too. And they tasted like crap, man. We had to do it 100 times. Our butterfly budget was through the roof, but Steve didn't care. He needed it to be perfect. I must have eaten like 45 butterflies over the course of 2 hours.
Did that have any negative effect?
You eat 45 butterflies and tell me how you feel.
I'll just take your word for it.
A wise decision. I think a dozen or so made cocoons in my colon. I say this because 3 weeks after, butterflies were being born out of my butt. But it was worth it because the final shot turned out great and it was a very popular scene. I believe it was included on the reel sent to the Academy for the Oscar campaign, and I felt very maternal towards my butterflies. I even named them all.
Was one Harpo?
That is a very personal question, and I will not answer.
My apologies. More than any other character, your singing is featured throughout the film. From the Taco Bell and Neosporin jingles to the song about various animal noises. Had you ever sung professionally before?
I had not. I was very apprehensive about all the singing at first.
Well, it doesn't show on film. Your performance was exceptional, and your voice of Broadway caliber.
You are very kind to say such things.
Where did the songs come from?
Oh, those were all Steve. They were fully formed by the time I got them, and then some. All the songs I sing in the movie were each at least 12 minutes long originally.
Even the animal song?
Oh yes, the original version had 8 more verses, but they got cut in post-production.
Really? Do you remember any of them?
Oh, I don't know. Who can remember?
Master Tang, please, no need to be coy.
Okay, it went like this. Pangolin go kudaku, anteater go pff, armadillo go tss. How about you? Want to be an animal just like you? Poor porpoise go squish, squish, penguin go and so on and so on.
Thank you for that performance. It really was the highlight of my life.
I guess I still got it.
In the behind-the-scenes looks that were shown with the credits, there were a few takes of you having issues shooting with tonguey. Was that authentic?
You try working with that tongue thing and see how easy it is.
I hope to in the future.
Be careful what you wish for, my friend. He's an untrustworthy booze hound, a degenerate gambler. He'll sleep with your wife and daughter at the same time if you don't keep an eye on him. But in the end, his talent overrides all the problems he causes. That's the way it goes.
How did being in this film impact your life?
Oh, a whole lot. I stopped being a cabana boy for like 2 or 3 months or so.
But you did go back to it.
Oh yeah, those glutes ain't gonna oil themselves, know what I mean?
I suppose. Are you working on anything now?
Nothing at the moment. The acting never really took off after Kung Pao. I'll always be grateful it came along, and grateful to Steve, but in the end, I decided to focus on my passion.
What is your passion?
I told you, being a cabana boy.
Being a cabana boy is your passion.
Yeah, man, it's great. I got a shift after this interview.
You're still doing it today.
How many times do I have to tell you this? Those glutes aren't going to oil themselves.
Right, my apologies.
Life is full of ups and downs, twists and turns, sad and happy endings. In the end, you need to make the best out of the very sticky, messy situations that will inevitably come your way.
That is beautifully put.
And sometimes there's an extra 20 in there for your troubles.
A beautiful metaphor.
Who's talking in metaphors?
I want to ask a question that I think has been on the mind of Kung Pao fans for a long time. What's the status of the sequel, Tongue of Fury?
I can tell you a few things. We did shoot just about all of it back in the early 2010s. Other than that, I have no more information.
When's the last time you spoke with Steve Odekirk?
Honestly, I could not remember. I know he's holed up somewhere on this earth and has been working on Tongue of Fury for a long time.
It's been over a decade with no updates provided.
Da Vinci didn't provide updates on the progress of the Sistine Chapel. One day he just revealed the completed work on an unsuspecting public.
Are you saying something similar could play out for Kung Pao too?
Listen, if you asked me if a dozen butterflies would fly out of my ass, I would have said no. But as I've lived on this earth a long time, I've come to realize you can never predict what will come next.
What word comes to mind when I mention Steve Odekirk?
Genius, innovator, all-around good guy, rockin' bod.
Master Tang, it was truly the honor of my lifetime to sit down with you today. I appreciate your time and candidness, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
The pleasure was all mine.
Do you have any advice or words of wisdom for our listeners?
I do, so listen, and listen well. If you head up the 101 and get off at the Santa Monica exit, follow the signs to a pool club called Big Daddy Dan's Cabana Palace. Cabana boy appointments fill up fast, so please be sure to call ahead and make a reservation, as walk-ins are not accepted.
Thank you very much, Master Tang.
Goodbye, Sally.
That does it for our interview with the incomparable Master Tang. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive with one of the masterminds behind the masterpiece. Stay tuned for more in-depth interviews with the chosen ones who helped create this timeless classic. I'm John Rogers, and thank you for listening to the Kung Pao Enter the podcast.
Hello, test 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this microphone even work? It looks like a piece of garbage.